Alright, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Chief Muay Thai here, and we are doing a different video for today. Usually we post martial arts content and stuff like that on my YouTube shorts, and then on my full videos we usually post just videos about we usually post videos just about like what's going on in the UFC, One Championship, just different little things like that. But today we're gonna be doing a video about these two books, and this one, obviously both of them are the Bible. This one is a little different. This is the King James version. I stopped reading this one because I feel like the New American Standard Bible is a more accurate version. But the reason why I sit up there and like, there was a quote in the Old Testament, which the Old Testament is not the real name of the Book of Law. It is just called the Old Testament so that it can create confusion among those who read the Bible. And those who, like myself, Jude I Am King, just various others who are on the internet who know the truth about the sons of Israel. And the one thing that when the God of Israel, the Lord, the God of Israel, I Am, sat up there and talked about he said that even when I scatter you throughout the nations and stuff like that, he said that I will be in the midst of the sons of Israel. Now we are not Israel. We are the house of Judah. There are other tribes that are still scattered throughout the nations. I think that some of those tribes that are scattered throughout the nations are still overseas. They're still overseas to a degree. And when you sit up there and you have all these things going on, you know, it's very easy to get confused. You know what I'm saying? The Hebrew Israelites, you're not that, because the Hebrew Israelites, the Israelites, the sons of Israel, are close relatives. We're not the same, but those are our close relatives. They were killed off by the Assyrians. So every time you see somebody who says that they are Hebrew Israelites, they're lying. Now, are they a Hebrew? Yes, they are. But are they a Hebrew Israelite? No, they're not. They are lying. So when you sit up there and the God of Israel says, hey, I will also be in the midst of the sons of Israel, and you be like, oh, well, how is he doing that when, you know, we don't see him? You know, we don't know who he is. Well, it's because this is where he's at. And when you read this book, it's like when you read the Book of Law, meaning the Old Testament, because the Old Testament is not the real name of our book, which is 1,300 pages of laws. And that's why I call it the Book of Laws. It's not a book of necessarily faith. It's a book of laws. Now, is it good for you to have faith in the Book of Law? Yes, it is. But you have to believe in the Lord. And so when you sit up there and people start to, when you read the Book of Law, it's like you get this, like when you chew a piece of gum, and especially if it's like cool mint or something like that, it's like frost coming up your breath down there. Your breath feels, it's like chewing a piece of gum that has some type of like mint on it, and your body feels like great. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really, and so when you sit up there and you read this book, it is a different feeling because you are starting to gain information. You're starting to gain, most importantly, not motivation, but you're gaining discipline. And I read this book 3 times. The first time, it was the King James version. I was easily misled, but when I started to read the New American Standard Bible and stuff like that, I started to gain a more accurate version because it was spoken in the English language. Now the King James version is too, but the King James version tells a lot of. I would read the King James version the second time. I would read the the New American Standard Bible first because you will be able to understand it. But the King James version has things in there called like Phoenicians, which the Phoenicians are the Haitians of today, mainly in Florida and things like that. The Canaanites and things like that, and all the names and stuff like that are still in this book. Now, you can find out who all these nations are, meaning your enemies, by simply going to these countries and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that our ancestors had beef with, probably still to this day, was people of the Philistines. We beat up on them. They beat up on us. You know what I'm saying? And it was bad. Uh, you know, and so I read this Bible, the King James version, the first time, like I said, and then I reread it again the second time, but I read it halfway up until, let me see, uh, I read it the second time all the way up till the book of Joshua, chapter 20. And then I sat up there and I switched once my granny gave me the New American Standard Bible. And so when you sit up there and when you hear the Lord, like, 'cause speaking in from the New Testament to the Old Testament, you can tell when God is speaking in the New Testament because it's written by man. There's too many inconsistencies, too many grammars. I mean, hell, I mean, the way that the sentences are structured with commas and stuff like that, it's not even correct. But when you read the Old Testament, you start to feel this mint type of like thing, like you brush your teeth, or like you chew a piece of gum that has like mint flavored in it. And I believe what that is to me uh is the is the Lord renewing your spirit, renewing your mind, your heart, and things like that. So people got to understand that when you hear those things, the people looking for God, like where's God at, where's God at? He's in this book. He's in even this book. You know what I'm saying? They're both the Bible. You know, you got to read the Bible and stuff like that. If you don't read it, you're always going to be confused. Quit following pro-white black movements. It's not bad to support your people. You're supposed to spend money with your people, but when you're not spending, but when you're sitting up there and you're accusing everybody of being racist, because like I said, when I was talking to Jude I Am King in his comment section, I'm like, hold on. I'm walking outside every day. I'm talking to my neighbors, different races and stuff like that. When I see a woman taking their trash out, I'm like, hey man, let me take that trash out of your hand. Let me take it to the trash for you. I'm not having these bad interactions with these people. You know what I'm saying? Black, white. I'm not having these bad interactions with Mexicans. I run every day, and a Mexican man see me, and he was kind of skeptical of me first because usually they don't see people running through there a lot. But the second and third time I seen him, the second time he smelled, the third time he smelled in it, and then we both waved to each other. But online, I got a couple Mexican people that when I was speaking about a certain pro-black thing, I got caught up, and then we were saying fucked up shit toward each other. Now, I wasn't making no racial slurs, but I was telling him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all go through what y'all go through, don't expect nobody to speak up for you. And that was messed up. I shouldn't have said that. Now, even though I got called a hard R, two wrongs don't make a right. So people just gotta understand that when you go outside, you gotta follow these movements. Just like the whole like Asian thing, like we're not buying beauty products and stuff like it from the Asian store. If I need something, I'm going to any store to go get a product. I don't use products and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So people just gotta learn to really just sit up there and just do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But you just can't get caught up with all that stuff because everybody's not a bad person. I got a new job recently. I had a bad day, you know what I'm saying? But the next day, I was able to bounce back. Even when I had a bad day, I didn't allow it to cloud and mess up my whole day. Even as I had a bad couple of hours, I still bounced back mentally. But my bosses, they weren't assholes. They were just like, you know, like when you get some time, you know, one of my bosses, Mr. Mike, older white dude who looks young, said, hey, you know, when you get some time, you know, go read your Bible, you know what I'm saying? And I did that. You know what I'm saying? When I see my other boss, Mr. Joshua, you know what I'm saying? You know, he was like, today's a new day, right? Whoop, whoop. You know, we was talking and stuff like that. And yeah. So like I said, everybody's not a bad person. You know what I'm saying? If you see something racist and white supremacist and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Don't give them the energy that they expect out of you. Until they put hands on you, keep it pushing. And then eventually they're gonna start to realize like something's wrong with these people. They up to something, and you are. But it's not in the way of physical harm. It's not in the way of premeditation and stuff like that. It's just in the way that you know what your value and what your worth is, and you know there's something better down the line is coming down the line, even though the average person don't know. The Lord, the God of Israel, I am, is your God. You're not a Hebrew Israelite, but you are a Hebrew. You come from the land called Judah, And a lot of people will tell you that, hey, he's wrong, but I read both of these books. Both of them. Read this one once, the whole thing. I read this one once, the whole thing. And then I'm reading it a third time. And the third time that I'm in the first book of Kings, and I only got 10 pages. I only got 10 to 9 pages left before I get to the second book of Kings. So, like I said, pay attention to like what these people really say to you because they leading you astray, and they don't have anything good coming for you down the line. The God of Israel is in your heart. He's up in heaven, and he's in this book. He said that he'll be in the midst of the sons of Israel, and he is in that book that you refuse to read. Stay tuned, stay up, like, share, and subscribe.